Dissolving the family structure. What's the endgame? Welcome back. I'm Adeline Atlas, and this is the Dissolving the Family Structure series. In every video so far, we've followed the fracture line: fatherlessness, single motherhood, digital surrogates, artificial reproduction. But now we step back and ask a harder question. What is all this destruction for? Because systems don't collapse this precisely without purpose. The dismantling of the family is not an unfortunate accident or cultural drift. It is a spiritual strategy and a geopolitical operation. What we are witnessing is the targeted disassembly of humanity's foundational operating system, and the replacement of it with something entirely synthetic. The family was not just a social custom. It was an immune system, a spiritual transmitter, and an energetic fortress. It was the first place children were encoded with memory, purpose, identity, and the anchoring polarity of gendered love. When mother and father raised a child together, they created not just continuity, but resistance. Resistance to reprogramming, to coercion, to collective psychological warfare. The family was the original firewall between the soul and the state. And for total control to take hold, that firewall had to be taken down. So the question isn't whether the family is being destroyed. The real question is, what replaces it? And that's where we must zoom in. Because what's coming next is not just genderless or fatherless homes. What's coming is an entirely new species of human. A restructured population birthed by machines, raised by algorithms, educated by ideology, and emotionally governed by artificial intelligence. Not in the future. Now. The endgame is not merely to break apart human connection. The endgame is to replace it with programmable, compliant, non-reproductive, spiritually severed individuals who belong to a global infrastructure rather than a personal lineage. The elimination of mothers and fathers is just the beginning. The true goal is the elimination of human origin altogether. We are being herded away from the biological into the post-biological, from the relational into the functional, from the generational into the synthetic. And the more we normalize these transitions, the more we forget what we even lost. Family is memory. It is the cellular memory of a child seeing his father protect his home, of a daughter watching her mother cook while praying over her future. These things were never just emotional. They were energetic. They encoded a child with stability, order, and selfhood. When the family dissolves, that encoding dissolves with it. And what fills the vacuum is not neutral. It is curated. State-sanctioned belief systems, institutional values, genderless social templates, AI-mediated childhoods, psychological frameworks designed to depolarize human behavior. What rises in place of the home is not a better version of it. What rises is a mechanized life pipeline, one that engineers identity, monitors thought, and reshapes future generations not through love or wisdom, but through compliance and code. So why is this happening now? Because the convergence of technology, ideology, and biological collapse is at a critical point. Fertility is plummeting. Birth rates are falling globally. Natural reproduction is no longer viable for many couples due to endocrine disruption, environmental toxins, and generational trauma. Into this void steps a solution that appears compassionate: synthetic embryos, artificial wombs, lab-based milk, hormone suppression, and egg-free gestation. But these aren't solutions to save humanity. They are systems to replace it. When natural reproduction becomes rare and technological reproduction becomes normalized, the ability to bring forth life will no longer reside in couples. It will reside in corporate state partnerships. This transfer of reproductive power is the final nail in the family's coffin. If you cannot create life without institutional permission or technological intervention, then your lineage is no longer your own. And if your children are no longer the fruit of spiritual union, but the output of digital fertility management, what happens to the soul? The state, the market, and the machine have coalesced. Not in theory, but in infrastructure. They now manage birth through IVF clinics and biotech labs. They manage learning through state education and algorithmic media. They manage emotion through pharmaceuticals and therapy scripts. They manage relationships through dating apps and digital contracts. The organic is being replaced at every level: ritual, reproduction, mentorship, morality. Even grief is being digitized. Even belonging is being simulated. The family was the last domain of uncontrollable emotional intelligence, of inherited resilience, of spiritual continuity. It was inefficient, unpredictable, and powerful. So it had to be neutralized. But here's the truth. We are not just losing a structure. We are losing a species. When families are gone, the definition of human becomes fluid. And when human becomes a term that refers to anyone with a neural network and a heartbeat, natural or synthetic, then family becomes obsolete. That is the true endgame. The normalization of a hybrid population: cloned, chipped, lab-grown, digitally bonded, spiritually sterile. No polarity, no blood memory, no divine order, just structure, service, and function. If this sounds dystopian, it's because it is. But dystopia doesn't arrive with fire and chains. It arrives with optimization and inclusivity. It tells you families are oppressive, that gender is limiting, that reproduction is dangerous, that tradition is trauma. And in the name of progress, It invites you to disconnect from your ancestors, your children, your nature, your roles. It dissolves the sacred in favor of the scalable. This is not evolution, it's interruption. The engineered halting of human development by breaking its only true source code, the family. We are being steered into a digital future with no past, where there are no mothers or fathers, only users and devices, no sons or daughters, only dependents and profiles, no homes, only pods, no legacy, only policy. And once that becomes normal, there is no going back. Because people who are raised without story do not seek freedom. They seek management. They don't ask, where did I come from? They ask, what setting should I be on? They don't ask, who am I becoming? They ask, how do I fit the system better? The family was the only place that raised a child to carry soul memory into adulthood. That memory is now being deleted. Quietly. Systematically. If you delete enough roots, even the strongest tree falls. If you erase enough lineages, even the boldest spirit forgets what it means to belong. And if you replace enough parents, even the brightest children become programmable adults. That is the endgame. Not destruction, but substitution. Not chaos, but compliance. Not extinction of the species, but extinction of the human soul as we've always known it, hidden in the code of the family. What we lose is not just structure, it's initiation, bonding, resistance, God. This is dissolving the family structure. Hi, I am Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and SOS, School of Soul has a brand new series, the AI and Future Technology series. Look, you know the world is changing. And no, it's not going back to normal. Normal is over, and what's coming next is beyond anything we were prepared for. The School of Soul, AI and Future Technology series includes 319 videos on 1. The Download Society, How Data Has Replaced Destiny. 2. Predictive Future. Your next moves aren't random, they're forecasted. 3. Social Credit Systems. The behavioral economy now governs access. 4. Hive Mind. Synthetic telepathy and collective algorithmic control. 5. Nanobots inside you. Medical, military, and programmable intrusions. 6. Grief Tech. AI-fueled digital resurrection and simulated comfort. 7. Uploading your mind, consciousness transfer, and data-based identity. 8. Deep fakes plus AI clones. The replication of reality and identity theft. 9. Quantum humans. The merger of biology with quantum systems. 10. Digital afterlife, where your data goes when you die. 11. Resurrection science, reviving life through synthetic methods. 12. Immortal science, the end of death as we know it. 13. Longevity science, gene editing, anti-aging, and bio-upgrades. 14. Designer babies, engineered perfection before birth. 15. Artificial wombs, birth decoupled from the female body. 16. 3D printing, printing organs, limbs, and even humans. 17. The humanoid era, the rise of synthetic beings among us. 18. Legacy humans, the slow phase-out of unmodified analog people. 19. Smart cities, algorithmic environments that watch and decide. 20. Cloud-based societies, citizenship without borders or bodies. 21. Hackable humans, emotion, memory, and behavior under code. 22. Biometric scanning, your body is your password and your prison. 23. Sex tech, intimacy reprogrammed by machines. 24. Extinction of gender, fluidity, deletion, and design of identity. Every topic is fully explored with real-world technologies, patents, case studies, ethical analysis, and future forecasts. These aren't someday discussions. This is already happening. Join the SOS School of Soul Vault to overstand the future before it's implemented on you.